back and forth shit. Is that just you being competitive, like when that happens? Or
Yeah, I just really don't like that.
why, though?
Yeah, I just don't like that.
The heated altercation between DervontaDavis and TerenceCrawford during a media event in New York, where Gervonta "Tank" Davis and Lamont Roach were present, has taken the internet by storm. Now, Crawford has spoken out to reveal what really went down, and in the process, he took another shot at Tank. With tensions rising, the boxing world is eagerly anticipating their next face-to-face showdown.
I don't like
Not your cup of tea, that's just not
I don't like that.
Mm.
I don't like that. I just feel like,
Unfortunately, a fight between them seems unlikely at the moment, as TerenceCrawford is focused on a potential super middleweight showdown with Canelo Alvarez, while Gervonta "Tank" Davis continues to dominate the lightweight division. Their heated exchange last month stemmed from a casual remark about the Ring Magazine Awards, quickly escalating into a war of words. Though Crawford and DervontaDavis will never share the ring due to their significant size difference, that hasn't stopped them from trading shots on social
we was
media.
to fight right now on the streets, I'll break your fucking neck. And that's on my kids. And you know it, I know it, and the whole...
Davis is currently focused on his upcoming bout against Lamont Roach as he aims to defend his WBA lightweight title on March 1st. However, Tank has never shied away from verbal battles, especially with Crawford, who has his own sights set on a showdown with Canelo Alvarez. While Crawford has other priorities, he recently revealed that his opinions on Davis weren't shaped by their heated exchange in January. Their back and forth last month initially revolved around money before Davis took things to a personal level. Though trash talk is nothing new in combat sports, Crawford had already made up his mind about Tank long before their public spat.
Tank get to pick his opponent, he would do it. But Tank would never come from 35.
In a recent interview with Cigar Talk, TerenceCrawford shared his thoughts on DervontaDavis. When the conversation turned to Tank's tendency to move up in weight only when he can handpick his opponents, the interviewer brought up their social media feud, suggesting it might just be a clash between two elite competitors at the top of the sport. However, Crawford made it clear that his issues with Davis go beyond competition. It's personal. "I just really don't like that dude. I just don't like him. I really don't like him. I don't like anything about him," Crawford said. "I just feel like he's one of these arrogant little dudes who hides behind what he has. He's always surrounded by security, and he knows he's in the limelight, but in certain situations, he wouldn't act that way." Despite his personal dislike for Davis, Crawford did acknowledge his skills in the ring. "He's a good fighter. I respect him as a fighter. He's got skills, power, and tremendous boxing ability. But as for his personality and the way he carries himself, nah."
I know fighting in the ring. If me and you was to fight outside...
Crawford's acknowledgement of Davis's skills did little to cool the tension, as Tank fired back in a now-deleted post. "Damn, they really interviewed that raccoon. And damn the raccoon. I'll be in New York City in 2 weeks. No security. How about that?" Adding to the growing friction between Crawford and Davis is the looming presence of Shakur Stevenson. The 27-year-old rising star is set to make his return this weekend at The Last Crescendo, with much of the buzz surrounding a potential showdown between him and Tank in the near future. Given their history, it's no surprise that Crawford is firmly backing Stevenson in what would undoubtedly be one of the biggest fights of the year.
Using what he got to shield him. Like, he got a lot of security guards around.
During the same interview, Crawford shared his prediction for a potential showdown between Davis and Stevenson. "We're going to take his personality and personal things out of it, but in boxing, he's definitely talented. He's got that it factor, and he's respected in the sport. But Shakur is a different fighter. Shakur is different. People may call him boring, and they may say he can't punch, but they said the same thing about Floyd because they're defensive fighters. Tank isn't going to be able to hit Shakur like he does everyone else, and he knows that." Meanwhile, rising talent Keyshawn Davis has thrown his name into the mix following his recent World Championship victory, further intensifying the drama. Adding fuel to the fire, both Davis and Crawford's trainer Brian McIntyre have openly called out GervontaDavis. As for Stevenson, he recently faced a setback after his scheduled opponent Floyd Schofield withdrew from their fight just days before due to illness.
Tank know what's up. You know what I mean? He know what he up against when he fights Shakur or Keyshawn. You know what I mean? He want to fight these guys that everybody in the world know they ain't gonna give him no fight. They not mentally there. You know what I mean? They might have a little skill.
Shakur Stevenson will still be part of the massive pay-per-view event in Saudi Arabia on February 22nd, despite Floyd Schofield pulling out. Instead, Stevenson will defend his WBC World Lightweight title against England's Josh Padley. Padley, who holds a 15-1 record, has won 3 of his last 4 fights by knockout. In his most recent bout, he pulled off an upset victory over Mark Chamberlain via unanimous decision. This fight marks Padley's first shot at a world title since making his professional debut in 2019. He successfully passed a weight check on Wednesday morning, just 4 days before the championship fight. When asked about Schofield's withdrawal, Stevenson didn't hold back. "I think this kid was struggling to make weight," he said. "He probably had weight issues, and instead of admitting it, they came up with all types of crazy stuff." The WBC champion expressed his disappointment, saying he had given Schofield a chance to fight him, only to feel disrespected by his late withdrawal. "It feels like he slapped me in the face by pulling out," Stevenson added. "Truthfully, I wanted to give him the opportunity to make some big money too. In the past, things got so intense between TerenceCrawford and GervontaDavis that Crawford discussed an improbable bout versus Davis during a recent appearance on The Breakfast Club, a popular morning radio program on New York's Power 105.1 FM. Crawford had never been beaten, let alone stopped. This did not, however, stop Tank from predicting he would defeat the 3-weight world champion inside the distance if they ever fought.
I've been thinking that since the fight started. I didn't really think it was going to be a possibility they was going to accept the fight. So then when they accept the fight, they surprised me there. But then when they didn't show up to the press conference, I kind of had a...
At 147, I'd tap that chin and you know he's going to sleep. He's got no chance. Round 6. In an interview with Fight Hype, Terence "Bud" Crawford laughed off Davis's bold claim and explained why Tank remains in the lightweight division. "When you look at all the great fighters, they get called out by everybody from different weight classes, so it's nothing surprising. Everybody talks about what they're going to do, but Tank is in his weight class for a reason. I don't see him moving up to 147 to fight me anytime soon. He's just talking," Crawford said while speaking to co-hosts Charlemagne Thagard and DJ Envy.
I got a question for you, Tank. At 147, how does a fight with you and TerenceCrawford look? 147? 147.
He's confident in himself. He believes he can do it because he's been knocking out everyone he's faced in the ring. So, no knock to Tank, but there are levels to this. If he thinks he's just going to move up to 147 and knock out TerenceCrawford, he's got another thing coming. Davis showcased his power when he dropped Ryan Garcia twice, once in the 2nd round and again in the 7th, securing a victory in their Showtime pay-per-view main event on April 22nd at T-Mobile Arena. Meanwhile, Crawford, now 35, has been unstoppable since moving up to the welterweight division 5 years ago. After vacating his IBF, WBA, WBC, and WBO titles at 140 lbs, he has gone on to defeat all 8 of his welterweight opponents by knockout or technical.
You know he's going to sleep. I already know. I already know he ain't got no chance. I already know he is.
No chance.
I got round 5.
Crawford made a statement when he sent Errol Spence Jr. to the canvas for the first time in Spence's 10-year professional career during the 2nd round. He followed up with 2 more knockdowns in the 7th before securing a 9th-round technical knockout victory. The Omaha native stands nearly 3 inches taller than Davis, who boasts an impressive 93% knockout rate in his pro career. However, Crawford argued that a fight against Tank wouldn't earn him much credit, as it would require Davis to jump up 2 weight classes. That said, Crawford admitted that if the purse was big enough, he'd be more than willing to take the fight.
GervontaDavis speaking about you. Is that ever a possible fight?
Yeah, if he want to,
I'd stay at 147 for him because that's a big money fight, said Crawford, who is also a former WBO lightweight champion. It's a huge payday, no doubt. But at the end of the day, what's everyone going to say? Oh, Tank was too small. Nobody's going to give me credit. They'll just say, you beat up a little guy who fights at 135. Crawford continued. Tank is about 5'5". He's a little guy. Yeah, he can punch, but in his weight class. I'm not saying he can't punch at any weight because we've seen his power, but what kind of recognition would I really get for beating him? A lot of people don't realize that moving from 135 to 147 is a big jump, almost 20 pounds. Well, 12 pounds, but still, that's a significant difference.
To be great. Can't be like all the other fighters that moving up 2 weight classes, daring to be great.
You would fight him.
Man,
Ironically, Crawford now finds himself on the verge of making the same weight jump he once mocked GervontaDavis for. While discussing his accomplishments and future plans on the Joe Rogan Experience, he addressed the possibility of facing Canelo Alvarez. "It's great. This is my era, and I'm taking it. Ain't nobody gonna stop me," Crawford declared. "Now that I've switched gears, I know I want to fight Canelo. I've always said it's a big step, definitely a big step. But if I can move up 3 weight classes, from 147 to 168, and win, and become undisputed, what can they say?" The conversation continued, with Crawford envisioning the legacy he could build. A 3-time undisputed champion, the smaller fighter, who moved up 3 divisions to take down one of the baddest men in the sport, besides myself, who's been dominating for years. That would be history in the making.
up there.
You got to come to win 54.
He said I got a glass chin. So tell him to come and touch me.
Wow. They said
It all started when Gervonta "Tank" Davis appeared frustrated over not receiving an invite to the Ring Magazine Awards, a prestigious event where boxing's biggest stars and legends gather to honor the best in the sport. The 2024 ceremony took place at the historic Old Royal Naval College in London, with a guest list that read like a who's who of boxing, including Alexander Usyk, Canelo Alvarez, Ryan Garcia, Devin Haney, Shakur Stevenson, Lennox Lewis, and many more. Ring Magazine, now under the ownership of Alal Sheikh, shared an iconic image from the event on social media. Davis, however, took the same image from Matchroom Boxing's Instagram and added his own fiery caption, profanely criticizing Sheikh and everyone in attendance. Why didn't they invite everybody? Davis questioned in his post. They only invite people they deal with. Get out of here. Stop bum eating. Look at that little rat Eddie, thinking he came up on something. Now tell them to all fight each other since they have such a deep roster. They want to act like this guy is good for boxing when he's not, Davis exclaimed. If he is, then why isn't he building up the fighters from where he's from? This guy knows nothing about boxing, and yet this is who they're turning. 2, all bum eaters. He didn't stop there. Davis also took shots at fighters who have traveled to Saudi Arabia to cash in on the massive paydays offered through Alal Sheikh's Riyadh season events. LOL. They have to go over there to make money, and they still do. Davis scoffed. I sell right where I'm from, idiot. America.
You know why I said that? You know why I said that? Because he was already talking like he was back in Devin. Like, Devin's my guy. Like, all right, cool. Y'all want me to fight over there?
They're going over there, getting their ass kicked, fighting in front of like 19 people. But because they're rich, it's cool, Davis ranted. While he has every right to stand by his beliefs and choose not to fight in Saudi Arabia, this approach doesn't reflect well on him. Sticking to his principles is commendable, but publicly criticizing other fighters for seizing opportunities, building connections, and making business moves comes off more as bitterness than genuine concern for the sport's future. TerenceCrawford had the perfect response for him as he
Send me something first.
Yeah.
Send me something first.
Right.
I don't got to fight. You know why fighters going over there? Because they can't sell here. I can sell here. So I ain't got to go.
I see somebody's mad they weren't invited to the Ring Magazine Gala, Crawford wrote, adding a laughing emoji. He then recalled a time when he too wasn't invited, but by that point, he had already set his sights on bigger goals. However, Davis quickly fired back, quoting Crawford's post and responding, "And I still make more than you." Tank continued his rant, writing, "Y'all think he's chasing greatness? He's not. That's just what he has to do to make decent money, expletive boys." Despite the ongoing feud between Davis, Crawford, and Turki Alal Sheikh, The doors to Saudi Arabia remain open for Tank, but only if his demands are met. Al-Sheikh has made boxing a centerpiece of his vision, bringing high-profile fights to Saudi Arabia. His latest major signing was none other than Saul Canelo Alvarez, who inked a deal to fight 4 times under the Riyadh season banner. 3 of those bouts will take place in Riyadh, while the 4th is expected to be in Las Vegas, likely in September, against Terence Crawford. The Arab Sheikh has been pouring massive amounts of money into boxing, almost as if it were a video game in career mode. Fighters like Tyson Fury and Alexander Usyk have secured the biggest paydays of their careers by stepping into the ring in Saudi Arabia. Initially, Tank wasn't swayed by the millions Turki Al-Sheikh had to offer, but it seems his stance is shifting. During a conversation on the Safe Place podcast, he hinted at a change of heart. "That's why I said, oh, yeah, I see what's going on. So now give me 2, 3, or 4 Ferraris," Davis remarked. Davis also revealed that he had already been approached with an offer but remained skeptical about how things are handled. "They said I would fight Devin, and then they turned around and said Devin was their chosen one," Tank explained. "So, I thought, if Devin is their guy now, they're going to have to pay me extra, because I already know what I'm walking into. If I don't knock him out, they're just going to hand him the fight."
Talk about the Turkey Al-Sheikh. So obviously, people stupid money in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, for sure.
Hence why those boxers are aligning themselves over there. You said that certain boxers was dick eating for aligning themselves.
The 30-year-old boxer wrapped up the discussion on the podcast with a message of respect for Turki Al-Sheikh's contributions to the sport. While Davis acknowledged his appreciation for the money being invested, he also offered some constructive criticism, emphasizing the need for a deeper understanding of boxing to ensure fair fights. "We have to be smarter and know more about the sport so that things are done right," he noted. Davis, now 30, is set to face Roach Jr., 29, on March 1st, where he will defend his World Boxing Association title for the 2nd time.
With them, are you just not interested in fighting over there?
It's not that, but they came at me wrong the first time they ever came at me, which they said I will fight Devin. And then when he was saying, like, Devin was his guy. So, I'm like, if Devin your guy...
Davis made a bold declaration. "After next year, I'm out of it, out of the sport." But why is Tank so eager to step away from boxing at just 30 years old? What about the fans and the desire to put on a show for them? It seems the sport is starting to feel a bit too routine for him. He shared his candid thoughts on his potential retirement during an interview with Fight Hub TV, offering insight into why he's considering hanging up his gloves sooner rather than later.
Y'all gotta pay me now,
Right.
extra, like, cause I already know what I'm coming over there, you feel me? I gotta get the knockout. If not, y'all gonna give it to him. So that's what made me like, oh yeah, I see what's going on. So now, give me 2 or 4 or 3 Ferraris. If not, ain't no point in me going over there.
The 30-0 record holder admitted that his passion for the sweet science has faded, confessing that he's grown tired of the sport. "It's trash. This sport is trash. Garbage. I'm fed up with the whole thing," Davis declared. These comments are unlikely to sit well with most fans, especially those who have long pushed for him to take on tougher challenges and face the best in his division. However, Davis has found satisfaction in making strategic moves, securing big paydays and doing what he loves most, knocking out his opponents.
Are you losing the love for the sport?
The lingering question remains: how will fans remember the Baltimore native, and how will they judge his legacy? Davis himself addressed this during a conversation with Fight Hype. When asked if he sees himself among the all-time greats, the UBA champion was indifferent. "I don't even care about that, bro. I don't even care. Where I'm from, I will forever be the greatest. I'll always be a G to myself." While fans only have a year left to witness Davis's explosive performances, and signature backflips in the ring. His upcoming fight against Roach Jr. won't necessarily be his last.
Fight, Tank Bulls. How about a homecoming fight?
You
lost the love?
He could still fit in a few more fights in 2025 before officially closing the curtain on his pro career. What's more, the lightweight champion remains under a multi-fight contract with PBC, reportedly spanning 6 to 7 bouts. Additionally, there's speculation that his deal includes a clause for a potential showdown with Shakur Stevenson.
Who have Shakur? What have Shakur done? What have he done in the sport? He haven't done nothing. The young one is looking more better than him.
And that's a wrap for now. For the latest updates on breaking news, big moments, and all the action in the world of boxing, be sure to stay connected by subscribing to our YouTube channel. Don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss out on top quality content like this. Subscribe my channel, heavy hitters.